LeBron Raymond James, in his 21st season, approaching the age of 40 in a matter of days, has eclipsed many accolades and broken many records in his career. But after dominating the league for so long, it looks like Father Time is finally coming to collect the king, and reality is starting to kick in. Over the past 4 games, LeBron has missed a total of 23s and shot a total of 29 of 75 from the field, which is 38% from the field. He hasn't shot this bad since his rookie career, but the king is starting to come down to age. The Lakers have been 5-2 over their last 7 games and are eliminated from the cup games, so they will not be trying to repeat for the in-season tournament title. And they are the 8th seed in the West with a 12-9 record, same as when they had Mr. Hands in his Pants, Darvin Ham. So we have waited and watched, and now it's time to talk about the aging LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. But before we get into that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button as we are on the road to 10K subs. Turn on those notifications and stay tuned for more content, and comment on any more videos you guys would like to see, and if you think age is finally catching up to the king. So after watching Bron's efficiency over the past games, is Father Time finally catching up to him?
Yeah, man, this could be open dialogue. Father Time is definitely catching up to his ass. He is tapping that man on the shoulder right now. LeBron James is washed up as hell, and really looking forward to seeing it, because I think that the game, the NBA, basketball, needs this very, very badly. We've put out videos, it's been documented how we feel about the current NBA environment. Adam Silver, worst commissioner in sports, and how he has treated the game. And we continue to talk about, burgeoning young talent not being promoted. And I think that with LeBron starting to have this decline in play, first of all, I think we can all agree the Lakers are not going anywhere this year. They're not going anywhere this year. We know that they went on that little bullshit win streak where people were saying that they're going to get to the finals or the Western Conference Finals or whatever. Jay, Buffy, and I, we knew that that record was fugazi because they weren't playing any competition at all. They were playing nobodies, and they were just squeaking out of those victories. When they started ramping up and playing some actual legitimate teams, they started getting their ass clapped consistently. So we can put that to bed. As I'm saying, LeBron James, his decline in play has been documented and well warranted. I do think a lot of it is coming from the standpoint of the fact that he did play in the Olympics. He is 40 years old. So having that much tread on his tires is affecting him. He is also playing about 35 minutes a game. That's extremely too much. I don't care who he is. And I think we need to get out of the mindset, get out of the mentality of, oh, but he's LeBron James. Oh, he's doing this in year 22. Let's actually sit back and evaluate what is actually going on. You're not looking to compete for a championship if you're top 2 guys 40 years of age. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the team is. I don't care what his stats are. You cannot depend on LeBron James. His defense has been declining at a rapid rate really since the bubble. His defense has been putrid, it's been terrible, and people don't really want to bring it up and acknowledge it, but now it's just so blatant because he's getting beat by everybody. He's not getting back on defense. Like, some of these games I'm not able to catch because I don't have NBA League Pass, so if the game is now on television, I'm not watching it. But when I'm watching the highlights of these games and there's a rebound and the opposing team is getting back, I'm seeing LeBron James. He's never in the shot. Never in the shot. It's 5-on-4, and I'm looking for number 23, and I can't find him because he's walking back on defense. I don't know if it's because he's complaining to the refs or he's tired, one or the other, but this is not a winning formula. LeBron James, his play has diminished a lot now, and all of a sudden people are really hinting on the threes. You got to realize he's shooting all of these threes because he doesn't have the energy to drop to the basket. He doesn't. He can't. He doesn't have his legs. And we're also seeing a lot of turnovers. He's either top 3 or top 5 in the league in turnovers, turning the ball over a lot, because when he is getting to a stopping point or he's jumping in the air and he could make those crazy passes, he can't do it anymore. He's turning the ball over way too much. This is great for the NBA because now, since LeBron James' play is declining and we're not seeing these crazy stats, because people will bring up he's averaging 22 and whatever, but we all know that this is not a great player anymore. Now we can start focusing on the young talent. We can start putting respect on the names of guys in Oklahoma City like the SGAs and the Chet Holmgrens and those guys. Or in the Eastern Conference, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and we have the Boston Celtics and we have the Orlando Magic. We can start focusing on our young talent now because this quote unquote face of the league right now, this dinosaur, his time has come to an end. And I think that now we need to start focusing on Anthony Davis, who has been the best player on that team for a long time. And I've been seeing a lot of ridiculous comments over the past few days because even though they did beat the Utah Jazz a few nights ago, why is a 40-year-old man taking 28 shots? I don't really know. LeBron James was 12 of 28. Anthony Davis only had 2 shots in the fourth quarter, 2 points, but he had 31 points going into the fourth quarter, and he's getting blamed for not being aggressive. I have been saying this ad nauseum really since the bubble. Anthony Davis was the best player in the bubble. He's been the best player on the Lakers since he got there, but has not been treated as such because LeBron James, I guess, is his aura, but he commands silence across the NBA and across that locker room. People were saying that Anthony Davis needs to go to LeBron James and tell him, hey, give me the ball. But how can he when everybody is continuing to tell us how great this man is? Father Time is definitely caught up to Mr. LeBron James. And I made this joke to Buffy a few days ago, and I said, isn't it rather poetic that when he's in the league with his son, he's starting to look like a father? Because he's very fatherly now with his play, because he looks like an old ass man. So I think LeBron James should retire at the end of this season. He did make comments before the season started about playing 82 games. I think that he recognizes that he is not that guy anymore, and he needs to get as much visibility to the league as possible because, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen LeBron James play, this may be your last opportunity to watch him play because that man is done.
Yeah, it might be over for LeBron James, and it's kind of tragic watching this in real time because you're just seeing just a massive decline in 1 year. We saw this guy early in the Olympics. He was going crazy. He was flirting with Steph Curry, almost kiss level to him. And while they were sharing their moment with Kevin Durant and all these guys before they beat France in the World Series game, but it's kind of sad at a certain point because LeBron James, he's been great for all of our childhood, and it's finally time for him to probably pack it up. And I know at the time we are recording this, I feel like LeBron James is going to have a 30-point triple-double game and just show us up and just be like, hey, I'm still back, I'm still here, and just defy all logic and sense and morality in the world. I feel like he might do that. But otherwise, like Bardo said, Brian has lost a lot of explosiveness. You're not really seeing him hustle. I saw a couple key plays. Rudy Gobert was getting to the rim, and Brian, as most NBA players know, you're supposed to play help side defense, so you're supposed to be at the rim trying to protect it. Brian just didn't, feel like contesting, didn't feel like, sliding over. And that's honestly Luka Doncic type defense to me. It's like, what different of a defender is LeBron than Luka, you feel me? So he's not really giving much energy and effort on that side of the ball. He's chucking a lot of threes. Brian, and I believe the last 4 games, he's shooting really bad from the field. He's shooting 38% from the field and 16 points. This stuff LeBron James, we know. He's been a real turnover issue. He's averaging 5 turnovers this season. At the end of the year, people are going to look at the box score. They're going to look at hey, he averaged, 23, 9, and 8 this season, but they're not going to look at the turnovers, his assist turnover ratio. They're not going to look at any of the analytics. His plus minus has been terrible. D'Angelo Russell has had a better plus minus. He has had a positive plus minus than LeBron James. LeBron James, after last game, his plus minus is over negative 100. It's lower than that. So Brian hasn't been really positive towards his team at all, and it's gotten so bad. He kind of wants to prove this point where he wants to play 82 games, and JJ Redick put out the report where it may not be in the best interest of this team for him to do that because it's going to be a hindrance on the team, and we have seen that. And Lakers fans, they kid me to this day because now they're blaming JJ Redick. They do this with every head coach they get since the LeBron era. They just blame this guy. So first it was Luke Walton, then it's Frank Vogel, and then they won a championship with Vogel, and then now it's Darvin Ham, and now it's him. Now it's JJ Redick at this point. So, this fan base honestly doesn't deserve nothing at this point because it's so ungrateful. JJ Redick has done what he can do with this roster, which this roster is essentially the same roster from last year. It hasn't really changed much. People are, getting on the Rob Pelinka for whatever reason. I don't know why. What you want him to do with this roster? It's not much to do. They drafted a good piece in Dalton Connect, who, will be pretty good in the future, and he has been pretty explosive in the games. He had a 37-point outing, but this is not a good roster. And LeBron James at this point in his tenure cannot be the best player on any championship team. You can't convince me he's been better than Anthony Davis this season whatsoever. Anthony Davis has been better than him offensively and defensively. LeBron James is taking shots. Honestly, I noticed this from the Nuggets series. I think it was game 2. Anthony Davis is balling and he's basically killing Jokic. Like, he was making every shot on Jokic. And then you get to like halftime, and then LeBron James just wants to, close the deal, and he's taking shots away from Anthony Davis, and this puts him in a hole. And then the Nuggets start coming back. And how did that game end? LeBron James doesn't make the clutch basket. We know what happened at the end of that game 2 game. So this kind of been a microcosm of how the Lakers' tenure has been going for him. Anthony Davis has been better than him for almost about 4 years, to be honest. Like he's just been better than this dude. And the media are going to be like, yeah, well, LeBron's still the man on this team. He's kind of not. Like, I don't know what people are watching. To me, LeBron hasn't looked the same since that injury he had in 2021. And I know his fanboys are gonna get mad about it. They talk about Solomon Hill, burn his jersey, F Solomon Hill, but it was a basketball play. Shannon Sharp went crazy on live, but it was a basketball play. But nonetheless, LeBron, he just hasn't been the same player, and it's really unfortunate that we're seeing our stars go out like this. Mind y'all, Kevin Durant is playing some of his best ball this shit. Like, nobody's talking about Kevin Durant in year 17, like averaging like 27 points in the games they're playing. They're like a top 3 seed. Nobody's talking about that for whatever reason. And he just had a clip on Wembanyama, who he starts that boy bad, but nobody's talking about this, but maybe it's time for us to retire our former legends. Our LeBron, Curry, Durant, Kawhi. Kawhi's already damn near retired, but maybe it's just time to retire these guys, or it may be time to identify that they're not our stars anymore. They're not our legends anymore that they used to be.
Yeah, man. Bron, he's finally showing that age. The brother can't shoot. I mean, he already really hasn't been like a great shooter throughout his career. Now, when he has to rely on it due to the fact that, his legs can't sustain all that in the amount of minutes he's playing, I mean, it's just showing, his bad efficiency. And the fact that his plus minus is greatly worse than D'Angelo Russell, a guy who, I don't know how many years that they've said that Lakers fans have been asking for this guy to be kicked off the traded, and he's got a worse plus minus than D'Angelo Russell, a negative like 120. Is this your king? One thing I also want to point out is that LeBron hasn't been the first option on this team. He hasn't been the first option on this team since, the bubble. We all know it's been clear. If you're actually a true basketball fan and you've been watching the games, we all know that's been Anthony Davis, who's been dominating. He's on an MVP tear right now, and he's continuing to do so. And we saw that at the beginning of the season when, they were emphasizing that the offense will run through him. Also, like Caleb said, all this blame is going on JJ Redick, but what y'all really need to be blaming on, the person y'all need to be blaming is Rob Pelinka. He the one that got y'all this sorry team. I don't know how y'all expect Bron and Anthony Davis to just win a championship with the team that they got. Like, let's be serious. LeBron James is not doing it, dog. The coaching, it's not been anything different than having Darvin Ham. I mean, I guess you just got a coach who gives more threes for the team, and he was on a podcast with LeBron James, so I guess they made it better. All JJ Redick has done so far is show us he knows how to write those X and O's, ever since watching that podcast with LeBron James. But LeBron James, I mean, he's showing his age. Honestly, maybe LeBron might need Bronny, to sit on the bench. Maybe it'll look a little better. How Giannis got the Nassus, maybe you need Bronny on the bench. But one thing I also want to point out is why in the world we are still letting this 40-year-old man have all the touches in the fourth quarter when your first option doesn't have those touches. The Utah game in the fourth quarter, not only was AD playing like only 7 minutes, but he also only attempted 2 shots. He only got to attempt 2 shots. This is your number one option, and he only got to attempt 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Now, they luckily won that game because, Utah's coach had the dumbest timeout that I've seen. So luckily, they got off with the win. But I mean, AD was dominating that game through all 3 quarters, and then you decide to take him out and not start him in the fourth quarter, and then when you put him in, he don't even get the ball. But, it's LeBron James, so as a coach, I'm not going to say anything. It's LeBron James. It don't matter what age he is. But no, like JJ Redick, JJ Redick, he was the one that was constantly critiquing this throughout the playoffs as a broadcaster. He was always looking at it like, oh, AD's the first option. Why is AD not getting the ball in the fourth quarter? Sir, as the head coach, This is your time to shine, and this is your time to tell LeBron James to give that ball to AD. Tell all those other guys to give the ball to AD. AD shouldn't even have to say anything in the first place. It should be known, because if this was LeBron James by himself on the team and he was the first option, everybody would just throw the ball to LeBron. They wouldn't even say anything. The coach don't even got to say anything because it's not LeBron James. Oh, if LeBron throws him the ball, hey, he'll throw him the ball. But I mean, no, because if you're depending on a 40-year-old LeBron James in the fourth quarter who's played, I don't know how many minutes he averages, then you're setting yourself up for failure. When are people going to start to realize that LeBron James is not the first option on his team and that the team needs to run through Anthony Davis all 4 quarters, not just 3 quarters? He can run through them all 3 quarters, but when that fourth quarter is the biggest thing that matters. It's just bad basketball going on in LA. And if this continues to go on, the Lakers will continue to be where they've always been, a 9th, 10th seed struggling, to get in the play in, and then they'll go against the first or second seed, and they'll get bounced out in the first round. Even though it looked like LeBron might need to retire, LeBron not going to retire. We all know he's finna stay here and wait for Bryce. But yeah, man, the King, Father Time is catching up with you, bro. He's tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, your time is almost up.
I've been holding my tongue for a good minute. You said a lot of things that I want to point out, and you can jump in whenever you want to. Can we please stop saying that this Lakers team doesn't have talent? I'm really getting sick and tired of it. Can we just face facts? Because we're really bouncing around the argument without really touching on to it. You got Austin Reeves, who for past few seasons, everybody has been telling me, all Laker fans telling me how good he is. He's averaging 17 points a game. D'Angelo Russell, people want to bag on him all day, but he is a role player, giving me 12.5 points a game. Rui 12, Dalton Connect, who's a rookie, 11 to 12 points a game. This is a talented roster. The problem is, as Jalen has alluded to, you're relying on a guy who's 40 years old to be your second best, and some people are arguing he's your best player, and he is not. He cannot be your top 2 player on a championship winning team, because yes, he's going to give us all of these stats, but what impact does it have on winning? LeBron James hasn't had impact on winning since the bubble year. He just does not impact winning at all. So the stats are cool. Everybody's putting up good stats. We talk about this stuff all the time. Like we see guys like over there in Charlotte, LaMelo Ball. He's on a losing franchise, but he's averaging 30. Everybody's averaging 25 a game. Everybody. So that doesn't move me. Then I'm hearing all of this dialogue about Anthony Davis needs to do this, needs to do that. Mind you guys, he's leading the team in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. He's clearly the best player on this team. It's not even a conversation. His number 2 guy, the guy that everybody is telling me is the GOAT, needs to play better. He's a minus 125 on the season. Can we stop beating around the bush? LeBron James needs to play better. And if everybody's going to continue to tell me, well, he's 40, then retire. It's rather simple. I'm tired of all of these caveats and excuses for this old man. Buffy was alluding to, it's sad to see. No, it's not sad to see. It's been 22 years. It's been 22 years. We've seen this guy be great for really our entire lives. Our entire lives, we've seen LeBron James be great. We've seen everybody tell us how great he is. It's okay. Let's move on. We had to move on from Michael Jordan. We had to move on from Kobe Bryant. That was hard to watch. It's time to move on from LeBron James. He's been great forever. Can we really just see some improvement and some movement with the National Basketball Association? It is time, because everybody keeps on talking about, we don't know the faces in question, and LeBron James and Steph, when these guys retire, who will be the face, the lead? But we need to get to this point. We need to start prepping for that point right now, because if LeBron James keeps elongating his career, then we're just putting ourselves in even worse position to be successful when he departs. If LeBron is going to try to play with Bryce, which at this point, by the way, he's playing, I don't think is going to be a possibility, but let's say he does, and he's 3 or 4 more years in the league, then people are going to continue to tell us that this guy is the face. And Anthony Edwards is going to get older, and Paolo Banchero and all these guys who could be the face of the league. Tatum is going to be in his 30s. So then it's too late to start promoting these guys. You want to promote a guy that's in that 20 to 23 range to be your face. So then you got Wemby. That's cool. But we know that they want an American-born player. We have to be honest on what we really value when it comes to the NBA. Do we care about the NBA, or do we care about LeBron James? Because it's really disingenuous when people make the argument, oh, it's LeBron, Steph, and KD. No, it's LeBron James. As Buffy said, KD is balling. They're like 10-1 when he plays. He's getting no media attention. None. And that's fine if you want to move in a different direction. But then you're still propping up this LeBron James guy, which he's an all-time great player. Nobody's refuting that. But he's not great right now. He's not. So when are we going to wake up and smell the coffee? We got to be honest that this guy just isn't that guy anymore. And if we really want to be frank, if he was playing offense and defense, the stats would be there and he would really be probably averaging about 15 points a game. If he would really focus his physical, his skill set and be a well-rounded player, he would really be, those stats would go down. We know that. He's putting more effort on offense so those stats can look gaudy. And now it's because he's not that great. He doesn't have the conditioning. He doesn't have that burst. He just doesn't have it. Now we're seeing 22 points on bad efficiency. And as Jay said, he's never been a great shooter. He doesn't have the legs. Because what I heard today on First Take was Shannon Sharp saying, yeah, Bron is in a shooting slump, but I expect him to get out of it. And then he also said, but he's averaging 22. So you're still excusing it. You're excusing the play, whether you acknowledge that or not. Let's just face facts. He is playing bad. He is the reason why the team is not better. If he was better, this could be a team that could contend with the rest of them. If LeBron James would give me that same effort on defense that he did on offense and play in a system and play through Anthony Davis, this would be a better team. Maybe it doesn't need to be co-stars. Maybe it needs to be Anthony Davis is the number one, and we got guys that are really, really good to great. A la, we have Austin Reeves, we have Dalton Knecht, we have LeBron James being supporting cast. Why does LeBron James always have to be the main star? If he wants to win, he does not want to win.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's time to let LeBron go. Now is just the best time to do that. We see he's aging. And we see, he's starting to get inefficient, even with Steph Curry as well. We've seen, a decline in him. Now, even though his coach is treating him like he's, old as dirt, we're starting to see a decline in these two guys that they've had on a pedestal for so long in the NBA. And if I'm Adam Silver, this is like my Kodak moment. This is my time to promote those guys that are young and will be the face of this league. And that can help me get, more viewership and more promotion.
But quick comment. But you made that comment about Steve Kerr, but isn't that what you want to do though? He's older, so
correct.
That's what we've seen historically. Historically, we see guys that get older, their minutes go down. That's what's supposed to happen, actually. So yeah, we can bag on Steve Kerr and say, oh, maybe you should play Steph Curry more in certain situations. But Steph Curry is not the most. I mean, he gets injured a lot. Yeah. So this is probably the best way to manage an older player, as Greg Popovich did. Why can't we do the same thing with LeBron? JJ Redick and all of these coaches won't do the same thing with LeBron because he needs to be in the game to get those stats. Because if you play less minutes, what does that mean? Your statistical output is going to go down. So how he can play 35? Because of course, if you're playing 35, 38 minutes, of course you're going to get 10 points. Of course you're going to keep that streak. Of course, if you're playing bad the entirety of a game and you're hovering around 10, 12 points, you can get a 16-point triple-double. He has the skill set to do that, but it's not a winning style.
Yeah.
He needs to be held accountable.
Yeah, when I saw that in like the starting five little series when at the beginning of the season, they had him on minutes restriction. He was like, come on, man, stop treating me like I'm an old dude. Like, dude, you are. In this league, you are an old man. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, and you're helping yourself out. Even though we know, Bron spends a whole lot of money on his body to stay in the shape that he's in.
What is gonna spending that money on? Can somebody please?
I don't know. He said he wasn't spending 1.5 mil on his body, but I mean, he got to be spending some type of bread.
And where are we getting a report from? That's what I'm trying to figure. Like, where are we getting a report?
I don't know, man, but. If I'm JJ Redick and I'm supposed to be this, hardcore coach that's supposed to be changing the Lakers and going into this situation, I got to tell Bron that, hey, we going to have to keep you on minutes restriction just so we can have you for the rest of the season if we trying to win. If LeBron James wants to win, he's going to have to agree with that. He's going to have to divvy up those minutes and trust and depend on his first option on that team in Anthony Davis. Now, Steph Curry don't got that luxury. He's the first option on the team. He doesn't have a, Hall of Fame caliber player like that helping him out. But luckily the Warriors are still winning. But for the Lakers, right now they starting to lose because they want to depend on a 40-year-old who's playing all these minutes like he's still young, but he's not. Somebody's going to have to accept that truth, and somebody's going to have to make a change in order for them to accumulate wins and actually try and make a push, or at least a deep playoff run. Because let's be honest here, they're not touching the finals, no time soon. But yeah, something's going to have to change within, that organization if they want to accumulate wins. And it's going to start with LeBron James, Rob Pelinka, and JJ Redick. I rest my case.
Closing statement, Your Honor. The Lakers will not move forward until LeBron James retires.